everyone, I'm back with these rub-on stickers that I used, I think it was 3 videos ago, and today I want to do something fun that I've actually been wanting to try for a few years now. I'm going to be using this robin sticker. I think these are robins, and I'm also going to use this adorable squirrel sticker. And what I'm going to be making are some resin shakers. I'm also going to be trying a new epoxy resin that was kindly gifted to me by Bondcrafter, and it's a 2-part 1-to-1 mixing ratio epoxy. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know epoxy is my go-to resin, so I always find it interesting to try new epoxies and see which ones are actually good. This one claims it's crystal clear, it's meant to cure rock hard, and curing time is 24 hours at room temperature, so we're going to put that to the test. All right, first things first, let's mix up some resin. I'm going to mix 2.5 ounces of part A and part B for a total of 5 ounces of resin. These 5 ounces is too much resin for the mold I'm going to use. The mold I'm using only really takes around 3 ounces of resin, but I'm doing something else on the side, so that's why I'm mixing more than I need. I'm going to start with the mold for the robin sticker, and I want the shaker shell to match the little berries under the robins, so I'm going to use these glitters to make the resin red. It's actually been a really long time since I last made a resin shaker, but the ones I usually make, the whole piece is around 3 to 4 inches, so these guys are going to be quite a bit bigger than what I'm used to making. These are going to be the biggest shakers I've ever made. Out of curiosity, let me know down in the comments whether or not you've ever made a resin shaker before. Resin shakers are actually one of the first things I've ever made with resin, and at one point it was what I was only really making with resin. Okay, so because I've added so much glitter to this resin, I'm going to pour it in 2 lots, and I'm going to run a micro brush along the edges to push out any air bubbles that could get trapped. I usually do this anyways with most of my resin projects, but because I'm using chunky glitter, in my experience, it's more likely to happen. Plus, since I am making resin shakers, I do need these edges of the coaster to be as bubble-free as possible so that later it will be easier for me to attach the shaker film. Now, for my second tray, I want to recreate the first tray I made with these rub-on stickers in my previous video. I want the resin to have that snowy look, so I'm going to mix my resin with the Dazzling Diamond Mica Powder pigment. Again, I have here another 5.5 ounces of resin, and I'm just going to add a few spoons of the powder to it. Here's a friendly reminder to use your respirator when you're handling really fine micas like this, especially if you're using it regularly. You really don't want to be breathing this stuff in. Now I'm going to mix this up and pour it into my mold. I do hope I have enough resin here. I'm slightly embarrassed to admit that I still don't fully know how much resin this mold takes since I use it all the time, but I really wish more mold makers would emboss on the molds how much resin the molds take. It would save us so much resin. I know Let's Resin has started doing it, thankfully, but we need more mold makers to get on board. So it does look like I could have used a little more resin to fully fill it, but it is what it is. I'll be back once these pieces have cured. Okay, so these resin pieces have cured up, and I've already taken them out of the molds just to speed things up a little, and I'm going to get straight into putting on my stickers. And to put on these stickers, it's pretty much the same as you would put on a paper sticker, but with these ones, you have to rub the tops to be able to remove the top plastic sheet that protects the image. The packs I've bought all come with these scraper tools to use to rub the stickers, but I'm pretty sure you could use your nail just the same. I've been finding these stickers really easy and fun to work with, and the best part is that you don't have to seal them in any way before putting them into resin, which I'll be showing you in just a moment. Let me know in the comments if you've had the chance to try these stickers. In the last video, a few of you mentioned that these look like DTF transfers, and although I haven't tried those yet, these stickers have a matte finish, while the DTF ones I think have a glossy finish. So now I'm just going to pour a thin layer of resin on top of these stickers, and funny enough, I'm going to seal them with this resin to protect them from the baby oil and embellishments I'll be putting in my shakers later. But as you can see, I'm just pouring the resin directly onto the stickers and they're perfectly fine. Now I'm gonna let this cure up. This layer of resin is cured now, and just look at that glossiness. I hope you can see that. So now I'm going to work on the shaker part of the resin shakers, and the first thing I'm going to do is drill a hole on the sides of these pieces so I have somewhere to fill these with the baby oil I'm adding later. There are a couple of ways you can do this. For example, I've seen some fill their shakers with their embellishments and baby oil first and then attach the film. But for me personally, the way I'm doing it here in this video is the way I've found that it isn't so messy and I don't get baby oil all over the shaker. Now, the next step is the trickiest part of the whole process, and it's cutting and attaching the shaker film. I already went ahead and cut up the film for the red piece, but I'm going to do the one for this piece on camera, and what I'm using is transparency film. I get asked a lot what this plastic film is, and these are the sheets that they use for overhead projectors. I don't usually use this specific film for my smaller shakers, but since these pieces are pretty big, I've had to find bigger sheets of this film to fit. Now, to keep the film in place while I trace my resin piece, I'm just going to use a little piece of tape like so. And now I can take my permanent marker and trace around on and along the rim. Again, this is something that resin artists do differently in their own way, and some like to trace right up to the outer edge of the resin piece, but I strongly recommend that you don't do that. I recommend that you trace just a couple of millimeters over the edge of the cavity of your pieces so that when it comes to putting on your top coat or dome, you have that extra protection in keeping the film in place. I will be showing you what I mean in case this doesn't make sense, but know that I kept my pen mark in the middle of the rim as I was tracing it. Now, before I can attach my shaker film, I need to add my little embellishments into these shakers. I've already gone ahead and chosen my little beads, gems. I have snowflake confetti in here as well, and this is all stuff I've bought and collected over the years. So now I'm going to glue my shaker film to the shaker shell, and what I use is UV resin. I'm actually going to be using the smaller bottle here. I've already filled it with some UV resin, and the reason why I use this bottle is because as I'm putting my UV resin along the rims of the shakers, I find that I get better control of the flow of the resin coming out of the needle tip. The nozzle from the actual bottle of resin is just too big, and in this instance, because I need such a precise small amount, things can get really messy quick because of the bigger nozzle. So now comes the tricky part, making sure I stick this film down properly. And how I personally do this is I get my little UV light and a pair of tweezers, and I go around the edge holding the film in place with my tweezers while I shine the light. Once I see that the film isn't lifting anymore, I then get my bigger UV light and let my shaker sit under it a few minutes so that the UV resin fully cures. One of my biggest tips for this part is, just like the shaker film, you want to make sure that you don't put UV resin right up to the outer edge of your shaker. You want to leave a gap like I have here so that when it comes time to doming, putting on that top coat, your resin can seal the edge of the film and the UV resin. This is the part where I've had quite a few viewers reach out to me because their shakers leak, and usually the trouble comes from not getting a proper adhesion on the shaker film with the UV resin. Since I started gluing my shaker film where I start with my smaller UV light and then finish the cure with my stronger UV lamp, I've had way more success. The other thing you want to make sure of is that your embellishments aren't too big, because any little kink in your shaker film can make it harder to seal properly too. And since I've brought up embellishments again, another tip I have for you is that I recommend that you keep your little bits in the middle of your shaker so that when you put your film on top, If there's any overspill UV resin towards the inside of your shaker, then those bits don't get cured to the edges. I've had this happen to me way too many times, and it still does. All right, so now that I've attached my shaker film, the next step is top coating, doming these pieces, but before I do that, I'm just going to get a little bit of tape to cover the holes I've drilled. I don't want any resin getting in there just yet. I have here another 2 ounces of resin, and I'm just going to pour it onto my pieces and push the resin to the edges. If you're new to doming and top coating, I would recommend that you put some liquid latex or Elmer's glue on the sides and bottom of your pieces, because if any resin spills over, you have a barrier protecting your pieces. I haven't done that today because these pieces are for me. This is for my fun, so if resin spills over a little, I won't mind, but know that resin won't stick to latex or Elmer's glue. I'm also going to be doing only 1 layer of top coating. For my smaller pieces, I usually do 2 for reinforcement, but for these, I'm only going to do 1, and I won't be top coating the backs. Now I'm going to let this resin cure up, and I'll be back. All right, we're at the final stretch. So the last thing to do is fill these guys with baby oil. I fill my shakers with baby oil, but you can also fill them with vegetable glycerin or water. But if you do go the water route, you should probably use distilled water just in case the minerals in your tap water react to your embellishments or the resin. Again, for this part, I really like using these needle tip bottles. They've really helped me keep my work clean. Now, to seal the hole in the resin shaker, I first wipe it down with a paper towel sprayed with a little isopropyl alcohol just to remove any baby oil residue, and then I fill the hole with UV resin. I don't fill it fully at first. I put some in, cure that UV resin, then I do a squeeze test, and if no baby oil comes out, then I go ahead and finish filling the hole with more UV resin, and I use my strong UV lamp to cure it. One thing I like to do is I leave a small air bubble in my shaker, and that's because I find that it helps move the little bits around. If you make resin shakers, let me know if you do this too, but I know some people don't really like the look of it. Now, before this video ends, I just want to circle back to Bond Crafter resin and what I think about it. As for my first impressions, I'm impressed. The resin does cure rock hard, and I really like the viscosity of it while I was mixing the resin. I also like that it has a lovely glossy finish, as you can see on my pieces. And as far as yellowing goes, only time will tell. Hopefully it takes a really long time for that to happen, but I'll definitely keep you posted. Now, the thing I didn't like about this resin is that it does have an odor. Compared to the other epoxies I use, this one is more noticeable, but it isn't too bad that it discourages me from using it. And there you have it, my friends. I'm sorry this video is on the longer side. When it comes to making resin shakers, it is a whole process, and there's a lot I've learned that I wanted to share with you all. Be sure to comment down below any other questions you have about resin shakers, or even if you have a few tips of your own. I'll pin them down below so anyone who watches this video can easily find them. I've really enjoyed making these shakers, and this one was just for fun. Every time I make one of these resin coasters, I always think, can I make this into a shaker? And after so many years, I finally have my answer. Now, the next question is, should I attach a keyring and attach these to my keys? Just kidding. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've learned something. If you did, then please smash that like button. And if you'd like to see more resin videos I've done, then be sure to check out one of the ones that should be popping on screen now. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!